Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. Like and subscribe and share and view and watch pretty much everything that's coming out and what's already out. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I wanted to continue on talking about as far as music and albums. So today we are going to talk about SpiceWorld, the album, with a little twist. We're going to also talk about the movie too, only because they coincide together in the timestamps of what was going on at the time. So when it talks about the movie, I'm going to dive into the movie and get back to the album. You guys know I got y'all. So yes, definitely check out the Patreon or Spotify. Either one is $5. I will be sure to put out more exclusive content for you guys. It is hot, right? It's definitely summer. Overseas, it may be a different atmosphere, but everyone be well and be safe, and let's get into it. So, SpiceWorld is the second studio album by English girl group the Spice Girls, released on November 1st, 1997 by Virgin Records. Its music incorporates dance pop music and production. The album became a commercial success worldwide, lengthening the so-called Spice Mania of the time. It debuted at number 1 on the UK albums chart with first week sales of 190,000 copies and shipped 1.4 million copies in 2 weeks. The album also reached number 1 in 13 countries while peaking inside the top 3 in Australia, Canada, France, Switzerland, and the United States. SpiceWorld has sold over 14 million copies worldwide, making it one of the world's best-selling albums by a girl group. The album spawned 4 singles, all of which saw commercial success. Its lead single, Spice Up Your Life, became an international success, peaking in the top 5 positions in many countries. It was followed by the singles Too Much, Stop, and Viva Forever, all of which attained commercial success on the charts. To promote the album, the Spice Girls embarked on their debut headlining concert tour titled the SpiceWorld Tour, covering Europe and North America for a total of 97 dates between February and September of 1998. We're getting there. This is the last studio album with member Jerry Halliwell, who left during the tour but rejoined in 2007. An expanded edition of the album, titled SpiceWorld 225, was released on November 4th, 2022 to celebrate its 25th anniversary. So Spice Up Your Life came out October 13th, 1997. So literally not even a week after Velvet Road came out, you get the single Spice Up Your Life. It's like, oh my God, music. And then Too Much, December 15th, 1997. So it was close to Christmas, you know, it was nice and magical for that. Stop, March 9th, 1998, everyone was still together. Viva Forever, July 20th, 1998, so that was in the midst of them touring, and there was only 4 members at the time. But let's talk about the background. After releasing their hugely successful debut album, Spice, which I talked about, you can check it out and be able to like as well and view it, thank you, which later became one of the best-selling albums of all time. The group announced they were working on a second studio album. During the recording and writing of SpiceWorld, the group also filmed SpiceWorld, a musical comedy film starring the Spice Girls as themselves. The album worked as a soundtrack to the album, with most of the songs from the album appearing in the film, with the exception of Move Over. So, this is where we're going to transition, as I told y'all, because we can talk about the SpiceWorld album, but we're going to talk about SpiceWorld, the movie. So, yes, at that time, like they said before I even go, and they literally had damn near the whole album on the movie too, including their previous work. So it was like a 2-in-1. It was like a movie that you not even just had their first work where you're like, well, we want to see them more, we got these music videos, but you get music videos with the second album along with an actual movie. So everyone was, I know I was just kind of like, oh my God, like this is so much. But yeah, let's talk about the movie. Spice World is a 1997 British musical comedy film directed by Bob Spears and written by Kim Fuller. The film stars pop girl group the Spice Girls, who all play themselves. The film, made in a similar vein to the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night, 1964, depicts a series of fictional events leading up to a major concert at London's Royal Albert Hall, liberally interspersed with dream sequences and flashbacks, as well as surreal moments and humorous asides, whilst also including a subplot dealing with a smear campaign against the Spice Girls by an overzealous newspaper CEO in an attempt to destroy their reputation for his own benefit. So, despite it being like, when I look at the movie, because they may possibly explain it, that way possibly, but when I look at the movie, it's like 60% of it was like flat out just them. Like, it wasn't even, there was like, I feel like that 40% where they kind of like took everything and made it where it's like, okay, well, there's a scenario here we can put in that can be acting, because this is still a movie. But it was giving documentary too. Like, it's like, it wasn't even like whatever they were to act on with certain things, it was giving to me just themselves anyway. So it almost was like, I don't know, as a kid, me being, a baby, not a baby, but, between 3 and 5, about 3 and 5. Well, I was about 4, but yes, like, just being really young and looking at that, you kind of felt like everything was kind of like happening and real, but of course there was some fictional parts in there, but most of the movie was just kind of like things that they kind of abstracted in a way where it's like, no, there is a slight boot camp where they have to train and make sure things are performed right. Not the way that they showed it in completely like that, but maybe they were just at the gym and doing moments of not even moments, just all types of just recording sessions. You kind of see in the movie how the star power that they were having was kind of overshadowing the acting, if you will, to me, because it was almost as if like you're not really, as you're taking in the movie, and there are parts where it's like, okay, this is not real, they're being funny, this is fake. You're still kind of just saying to yourself, like, it's almost like skits, like, it's not so much like far-fetched from who they are, anyway. They're nice women. So let's go back. So this is the second feature-length film directed by Spears, following That Darn Cat in 1997. The film features Richard E. Grant, Alan Cumming, George Wendt, Claire Rushbrook, Mark McKinney, and Roger Moore in supporting roles, with cameo appearances by a number of British celebrities. Filming took place in London for 6 of the 8 filming weeks, and also inside Touchingham Studios, as well as at over 40 famous British landmarks. Shooting featured several 14-hour shooting sessions and a constant heavy media presence due to the Spice Girls' then large popularity. So like I said, despite them doing like the acting scenes, the actual scenes where it's just like them being them, it was almost natural for them to do it, but it was like, it wasn't even in the sense of reality TV. It was just real life, like them really like performing and really like doing shows and things like that, and they was able to kind of glimpse all that in a movie, and like being able to have all different types of landmarks in London that you see, like it was being from the US, it was different, because you don't see that, like, in the US, yeah, you see Cali and you see Florida and you see New York, and there's all types of movies for that, and of course maybe there's Texas, and of course there's Vegas, there's all types of movies, whether it's Boston, Philly, whatever the case may be, but there's all types of movies, even Louisiana, there's the Carolinas, whatever the case may be, there's all types of movies where there's different parts of the country. But you never really see a movie where you're just looking at another country, especially from women that are largely, known. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. Still is. Yeah. The film premiered in the UK on December 15th, 1997. So in the midst of Too Much being released, they have the movie coming out in the UK ahead of its wide theatrical release on the British holiday Boxing Day, December 26th. In North America, it was released on January 23rd, 1988 by Columbia Records. In the United States, SpiceWorld became a box office success and broke the record for the highest ever weekend debut for Super Bowl weekend. Oh my God. With box office sales of $10.5 million. The film grossed $56 million at the worldwide box office and received primarily negative reviews. Ooh. Received primarily negative reviews. Oh my God. Well, I enjoyed the movie. To celebrate its 20th anniversary in 2017, SpiceWorld was given a limited release across the UK. Showing at Odeon Cinemas, SpiceWorld is the highest grossing film of all time by a musical group. So despite negative reviews, it's the best selling film for a musical group of all time. It's always when something, is so big that, it's not good. But it's shown that it's sold more. The most. Okay? But yeah. I'm not going to give too much of the movie. But just know they go through a series of events. And, the development of it all, as the popularity of the Spice Girls grew, the Walt Disney Company approached the band about making the film. The band turned down Disney's offer as they did not like the Disney feed script, which was about a young single mother of one of the girls fighting hardship to form the band. Kim Fuller, brother of the band's manager Simon Fuller, decided to write the screenplay for a Spice Girls movie himself. Oh, okay. Well, hey, no one talked about it. No one talked about the fact that Disney would see. No one talked about the fact that Disney wanted to do this movie. And then the story, right, was, they're women, at this point. Like, Disney was trying to make it to where, Baby Spice would just be like, well, I just want to be in a group. It's like, that's not how it, no. Even if she was the last one to be started, like, no. And I feel like that's probably where it was going to go, maybe, because everyone else was already together. It was Baby Spice that literally, it was Emma that literally, was like, no, y'all gonna like me, okay? And I respect that, Emma. I respect all of them, period. I love my scary Spice. She's a gem like me. I love them all. Don't get me started. But anyway, yes. They won, they won only a few awards. Bad Movies Awards. Oh my God. They was nominated for a Kids' Choice Award. They was nominated for Blockbuster Entertainment. There was going to be a potential sequel, but yeah, but after SpiceWorld, there was an album, then a tour, and then Jerry left, so it didn't happen. Yeah, there was supposed to be a sequel to it. They was supposed to continue what they did. The project, okay, so speaking in 2019, January, following the announcement of the Spice Girls reunion tour, Simon Fuller confirmed plans to make an animated sequel to SpiceWorld. So they were going to make something animated, but it hasn't been yet to be announced. That was about 5 years ago. I would say half of the women have children now. Well, maybe, actually Emma's a mom too. I believe most are moms, so it's just kind of like the direction. It could be a sense of just their motherhood and where they are now, and still being able to make great music. It doesn't have to be the sense of it being so magical and the kids need to love us again. Like, no, we're grown. Like, we were making borderline grown music in the second album, I believe, and forever they were definitely doing that. But yes, be sure to check out the film. As far as for the album goes, let's get back to the album. Well, actually, no. One more thing I want to talk about with the film is the fact that, they did great with their performances. They showed their personalities. I feel like there's certain things when you look back at now as opposed to what they've been able to recently talk about, to, being reunited and everyone kind of just saying to themselves, like, we're great as we are now. Like, we were always great. They just didn't see it as much as they do see it now. And I think what it is, at that time, and even in the movie, they just was doing a lot. And I feel like they were even shocked by how much they were able to do because, they're on tour bus, they're seeing mystical creatures. They're just in different countries touring, and, they have, like they said, some guy that's trying to take their reputation down, and they catch him in time before they go to their last. I just gave up the movie. They go to they catch the guy in time before they do their last performance, and their last performance is legendary because everyone's literally wearing their personality. Like Scary Spice is in Leopard, you got Baby Spice, and just everybody's wearing their personality. They're comfortable and they're out there and performing, and yeah. But yes. Throughout 1997, the Spice Girls received massive media attention, which also included a few controversies. The group performed live for the first time for the British royal family. At the show, they breached royal protocol when Mel B and then Jerry planted kisses on Prince Charles's cheeks and pinched his bottom. They weren't supposed to do that. The group was also criticized in the United States for releasing their second album, SpiceWorld, just 9 months after the American release of their debut album, Spice. They received further criticism because of the impact and amount of sponsorship deals they had signed. They also made a decision to fire their manager, Simon Fuller, in November 1997, which was front page news around the world. So they was done with their manager. They had multiple deals that they had to abide to. The fame was just really there. Like, it just was really there. They was really out, just, hi, we're the Spice Girls. Like, they were really out. And so, yes, in October 1997, the Spice Girls held a 2-date concert in Istanbul titled Girl Power Live in Istanbul, sponsored by Pepsi. During the concert, the group premiered 3 new songs from SpiceWorld, Too Much Stop and Saturday Night Divas. 2 promotional singles from SpiceWorld were released prior to the album release in 1997, Step to Me and Move Over. Both songs were used in the Pepsi advertising campaigns and were also given away free with special ring pulls. The Japanese album version of Step to Me is slightly different from the original release of the song, while Move Over Generation Next was only released as a live version during its promotional release. So, there was a thing with labels, and I noticed this. They would always want overseas to have a little extra, as opposed to us, where it's like, well, you're from here. It's like, all right, well, no, maybe we want that. And then later on now in 2024, it's like, we're now getting this. The album consists of pop music with dance pop songs and production. According to AllMusic, the album's music is catchier and has an intoxicating sense of fun. The album was also used as the soundtrack to their 1997 film SpiceWorld. Spice Up Your Life is an up-tempo dance pop song with influences of Latin rhythms such as salsa and samba. The lyrics to Spice Up Your Life are an international rally cry targeted to a global market. As Melanie C. described it, we always wanted to do a carnival tune and write a song for the world. Stop is an up-tempo dance pop song with influences of Motown's blue-eyed soul and is reminiscent of classic singles by the Supremes or Martha and the Vandellas. Lyrically, the song calls for a slowdown on courtship process and is particularly, I said it right, yes, addressed to appeal to the young female audience as the female-to-female bonds are not threatened. Too Much is a pop ballad with influences of R&B music and doo-wop sounds, whereas Never Give Up on the Good Times is a dance pop song with influences of disco. Viva Forever is a pop ballad with influences of Latin music. The Lady is a Vamp has influences of jazz. So, SpiceWorld received positive reviews from music critics. AllMusic wrote that the album boasts a more consistent and catchier set of songs than Spice and an intoxicating sense of fun, concluding that each song has a strong melody and a strong, solid beat, whether it is a ballad or a dance number. It's a pure, unadulterated, guilty pleasure and some of the best manufactured mainstream dance pop of the late 90s. Commercial performance debuted at number 1, like I said, and the album debuted at number 8 on the US with first week sales of 83,000. So when it finally came here, people weren't really buying it like that yet. They were like, oh, and it's like, hello, they're back, and so soon. Sales increased week by week. Like, yeah, it was like, wait a minute, like, yeah, no, they're back. I think people were thinking like it was like a prank, or like, no, these ain't no real CDs. It's like, why would they not have real CDs? Like, yeah, its best week being that of January 3rd, 1988, when it sold 284,000 copies. The album finally peaked at number 3 on February 14th, when Spice also returned to the top 10, making the Spice Girls the first British group to have 2 albums in the top 10 of the Billboard 200 at the same time since the Rolling Stones in the mid-1975. So literally both albums were charting. People were like, oh my god, I have 2 albums. Because you say to yourself, if it's like 9 tracks for both of them, or 8, whichever the case may be, that's 2 in 1. It's a double album. But yes, the album sold 1.74 million copies in the first 12 weeks and 3.2 million in the first 10 months. It was certified 4 times platinum by the Recording Academy by May 19, 1999, and by December 2007, it has sold 4.2 million copies in the US. Yeah. SpiceWorld had sold 13 million copies by the end of 1998, making it one of the world's best-selling albums by a girl group. But it did re-enter with the 25th anniversary at number 46 with 2,257 copies. And I feel like that's only because with streaming and even just with this new era of people, there isn't as much of a gravitation to groups, but these girls, just like the Backstreet Boys, just like even when you consider NSYNC, and even when you consider TLC and Vogue and just groups as a whole, when they show that they still got it, they sing, they all have their own parts, like that's magical, and you gotta respect it. But there's actually 10 tracks, so let's talk about the track list. So there's Spice Up Your Life, Stop, Too Much, Saturday Night Divas, and you know what? Saturday Night Divas, play that really on a Saturday. It hits different. It really does. Like, you could play that on any other day, but it really does hit different when you play it like on an actual Saturday, because you're like, get down here. Like, you really, you love it. Never Give Up on the Good Times. I think, I wish this had a music video. I wish they had a music video for this. This is such a great song. Great song. They did so well. Move Over, which is track 6. 7 is Do It. 8 is Denying. 9 is Viva Forever. 10 is Lady is a Vamp. So, yeah. Literally all these songs was in the movie besides Move Over. I remember hearing Denying being in the background. Do It, you definitely hear it in the beginning. Go on and do it. You hear it like literally in the beginning of the movie. Lady is a Vamp is kind of like near the end or in the middle. Saturday Night Divas is like still in the beginning but kind of going towards the middle. They're trying on different clothes. Too Much. You hear Too Much. To be honest with you, you think Do It is in the beginning. Too Much is the first thing you hear. They wanted to make sure Too Much was heard. Like you ain't gonna go throughout the movie without hearing Too Much, okay? Stop. You hear Stop in the beginning too, in a couple parts. Spice Up Your Life. That they kept Spice Up Your Life for the end. I won't tell you when. Maybe I did. But Viva Forever, that's near the end too. Actually, no. Viva Forever, I think they played that in the beginning. They may have. But yeah, that is definitely the track list. Step to Me is the only song that is not on the track list as far as here, but in Japan. There are different remixes as well. But as far as with this album, it's a great album. Definitely check it out. As far as with the movie, watch the movie. Enjoy it. To be honest with you, like I said, it was a movie that was not expected, and when you look back at it now, was needed, because with series of events that had happened so fast. You know, when Jerry had left, the movie was already out, so people was like diving into the movie, renting the movie damn near when it was going to be on VHS, where it's like, all right, you know, we see Jerry, and Jerry's not part of the group. And you know, when they came out with the album Forever, you know, they had to really move on. And she came back in 2007, and even when they toured 5 years ago, all 4 girls, Victoria did not tour, but she did tour when it came to Forever, and even in the midst of when Jerry had left. So to me, I think that they've completed, you know, whatever touring cohesively, whether one wasn't there or one was, because when they're there, they're there. That's how I see it. And if they were all to come back and do a tour, all 5 of them, everyone would show up. People would show up. I know people would show up. It wouldn't even be, no one would not show up. People would be wanting to bring their cameras and be like, I am at a Spice Girls show. We have not had a Spice Girls show in over 25 years with all of them together. Like, people would show up. God rest his soul. If Michael was still alive and was like, you know what, I'm doing one more tour with my brothers, think people wouldn't show up? People were losing their minds at his 30th anniversary. You think people wouldn't show up? So it's just, when you see the talent and you know it's there, you just appreciate it. That's how I see it. I thank you guys for watching and enjoying this video and listening, and I'll be back with more.